Welcome to A Day in Miami. I am your host, Anabel, live from the studios of Miami's Community News. Thank you for watching. Today's special guest is Magnus Holm. He is a health insurance advisor, and today's show is sponsored by Heyday Marketing, a public relations and marketing agency based right here in Miami, Florida. If you want a PR or marketing quote, please look at the scroll below and contact them today. Magnus, thank you for joining us here today for such an important topic. Okay, we're discussing health insurance, and you work for United Health, correct? You're an advisor for them. Tell me a few various different types of health insurance or channels of health insurance.
Okay, first of all, thank you, Annabelle, for having me here in the studio. So there is 5 different kinds of channels or variants of health insurance that you could get. And the first one you would look at would be Medicare. That would be healthcare for people that are 65 and above, or for the totally disabled people. That's the way they could go. Furthermore, you have Medicaid, which is for people with low income. So if you earn, I think it's about $19,400 for an individual. If it's less than that in a year before tax, this might be an option for you.
Okay.
Then we have employer plans or group plans, which is the most common plan. Most Americans have that actually. This 158 million Americans today have employer plans. So it's a very good option to have. It's, many good benefits at a good price. What was I want to say about that? No, it can also be good because you have employees. They pay for the employee, right? But they also might cover for your spouse or your dependents.
Correct.
But they can also. It's also good to look how much that would be that they would cover, because in some cases it would be better to move, split up and move over the rest of your family because of how much they cover.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Then we have, if you're not above 65, and if you're not lower income, and if you're not on a group plan, then there's 2 more options for you to have a look at, and those are the ACA plans, the ACA plans, and the non-ACA plans, and that would be ACA as for Affordable Care Act. And it's basically a law that's compliance with, actually the name is ACA Compliant Individual Plans. And what it is, it's basically that the insurance is following some set laws. So you have plans that follow this and, the others that don't. And how you look into that is literally, you have to look at the financial part, your income, your medical needs, and then try to determine whether to put a person or apply for one of the ACA plans or the non-ACA plan. The non-ACA plan is very confusing, maybe repetitive, but the one that's not compliant, that's a medical underwritten plan, which means you have to answer a few questions about your health, and you would qualify in that sense. And by doing so, they would lower your premiums, and it will get great coverage.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's very important to know that there's options out there. And something that I asked you ahead of the show, I said, let's say like a 40-year-old woman that their job doesn't offer health insurance, but I'm not below income. So there's options out there for me. But how much am I looking at? I'm in pretty good health. I do have a little bit of a medical history, surgery when I was younger. So that kind of dictates how much my monthly payment will be, correct?
It could be if you're looking at the ACA plans, also called more commonly known as Obamacare plans, marketplace plans. In that sense, they look at your household income, they look at your zip where you live, your age, and also your sex. That kind of dictates how much you would pay afterwards.
So gender-based, really? How interesting.
It's, they usually say that women have more moving parts than men, so a little bit more expensive to actually insure.
Really? Oh, yes, of course, because of pregnancy and all of that. They put all that in consideration.
Exact.
Okay. Yeah. So how much am I looking at monthly, kind of roughly, would you say?
It all depends how much you make. In that sense, because if you know what you make, they give you a subsidy, or you can get financial help. Okay. So if you're in like I don't know 100,000 and above, and yourself, you probably won't qualify for any. And then those ACA plans, they would be somewhat expensive. But then you also have the private side of things, where you can qualify medically by answering some medical questions. You don't have to be super fit or so, but somewhat healthy, and then there would be a way to qualify for those. And by qualifying, then you qualify with your health, and not with what you earn. It's based on your health.
Yes.
And that's why you will get a lower rate. You pose a lower risk for the insurance company.
Yes, and I'm really surprised by how many conversations I've had this year with acquaintances, people that I have met, and they don't have health insurance, nor do their employer offer health insurance. That's like really bizarre to me, because tell me, what are the reasons why, the top reasons why an individual should have health insurance, whether their employer offers it or not?
Well, the reason is, first of all, I say from a financial part of view, medical bills can be very expensive. If you look at the sickness side, cancer starts at $2 million. Wow. If you're in a bad accident, they cost us several hundreds of thousands. So if you had landed in a hospital, it could also reach $1 million, easy. So if you don't have any insurance, then
you're looking at something. You never know when something's going to happen.
No, and that's why it's important also to what kind of plan you would have.
Yeah.
Because it's important to know that you have an unlimited catastrophic plan.
Yes.
And that, in that sense, that you will have coverage after you reach your max out of pocket. Max out of pocket is the money you would pay maximum in a year. I can go back and talk about that maybe further ahead, but it's important that you have a stop loss at some point.
Stop loss.
Or
I
max
thought that
out of
was
pocket.
only a military term. How interesting.
No, max out of pocket or stop loss, people call it. You can say both. So yeah.
That's interesting. So what are the different types of health insurance? We were discussing that earlier.
Well, unfortunately, when people look into getting health insurance, they don't really consider that there might be different kinds.
Okay.
So what I say is, what's very important when you look into insurance or health insurance is that your plan is unlimited catastrophic coverage that offers that after you have paid your max out of pocket or stop loss.
Okay. So what is that term again? The not stop loss, the one before. Max out of pocket. Max out of pocket and catastrophic.
It should be that, because there's some, for instance, if how should I explain it to you? If you have, let's say, your max out of pocket, that's set. I'm going to go into those terms later, but you have a deductible and you have a max out of pocket, and so the deductible is basically where the insurance company, once you pay that amount, let's say you have 5,000, that's a deductible. When you reach that, that's when the insurance company will go in and pay a percentage, help you to cover for the rest of your medical bills.
Right.
And until you reach your max out of pocket, that is a stop loss. So let's say it's 10,000, then at 10,000, that's when the plan takes over completely.
Oh, wow.
And pays 100% of it. But the problem is, many people, they look at price and premiums, for instance, and there are some plans that are short-term plans.
Right. And
they don't offer this. They are capped, and they're capped at maybe, I don't know, normal 300,000, as it depends a little bit what it is. So what that means, if you have a bad accident, it costs you millions, then they cover you up to that amount, 300,000, and then the rest is on you to pay.
Wow.
So it's very important to know.
To have that. Yeah. And now you are an advisor for individuals, as we mentioned, but also for small employers.
Families.
And families. Yeah. Perfect. So you can customize a plan for anybody.
Yeah.
Basically.
Exactly.
Okay. And in your time of being a health insurance advisor, have you witnessed a moment where you thought, or you knew the individual that you had offered them health insurance, they didn't get health insurance, and then something catastrophic happened?
Not exactly, but I have colleagues that I worked with who who's been telling me about, they ended up in bad accidents and it cost them lots of money. So and they had insurance. So imagine if they wouldn't have that kind of coverage.
Absolutely. I know. And I mean, car insurance, also health insurance, all of that plays into it, right?
Yeah.
But if an individual doesn't have car insurance and they get in an accident, the health insurance will cover the liability part, correct? So that's interesting to know. And how can someone find the best health insurance plan? You have a website, correct?
Yeah, it's how we can book an appointment with me.
We could pull up the website.
If you would have a look at. And yeah, that's how you can reach me by phone and stuff like that. But my phone number is there. You can also click to book an appointment. You can sit down and talk, look at the options. And
you do virtual consultations or telephone, it doesn't matter?
Phone, we can, I also come out, meet in person.
Perfect.
Come home.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And when you finalize a plan for an individual or family or small employer, are there health checks involved before the process is complete? Like, do they have to go draw blood, make sure that they are in the health they say they are? No.
No, it's a medical questionnaire. But then we're talking about the private plans. Because when you're looking at the Obamacare plans or the marketplace plans, they take on everyone. So you don't have to qualify.
And you offer those as well?
Yeah, I work with all major carriers.
Oh, so that's okay. You even work with families that can get Medicaid?
Yeah, I can. Yes,
oh,
I can direct them.
Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, that's really good.
So it's a broad spectrum, and I look at every single individual person or family or company, and then I can kind of direct them in a direction where they need to be and where to go or talk about it.
I'm sure you're a very busy health insurance advisor because the climate that we are in now, I feel there's a lot of families that fall under the poverty line.
Yeah.
And knowing that they can contact you on where to be directed for Medicaid is crucial. Mm-hmm. Especially with so many immigrant families. Now, what are the qualification, I would say, like processes for somebody that wants Medicaid but is not a naturalized citizen? Do they qualify?
For the I mean, then it's a matter of Medicaid. Then you're low income, so then have the specific programs for that.
Okay.
So if you're looking at this how do you say, the medical, the plans you need to qualify for medically, unfortunately, I think there's going to be too much to pay for them to be.
Yeah.
So then I suggest, it's like this. If you're in a place where you kind of qualify for something, then it's always best to go that route. So if you're low income, then you should really aim for the Medicaid plans. Right. That will help you the best. You will get the best coverage from that also.
Absolutely. And I want to talk about small businesses. I know many small businesses that don't offer health insurance for their employees. Mm-hmm. And I feel that retention would be a lot less. Is a lot less when you don't offer things to your employees. And employers should really look into offering health insurance, even if it costs them a little bit out of pocket, more than what they want, to really protect their employees and for the employee to be satisfied and stay with the company for a long time, because they know, well, they're taking care of me, so I'm going to take care of them.
Yeah.
And I think that's extremely important, and they can make a consultation with you. And I've heard a lot of stories. No, my employer doesn't offer health insurance. I don't get it.
But there's a lot of things to take in consideration also when you look at health insurance. Mm-hmm. Most people I speak to, initially they just look at the premium or the price you pay per month, right? But there's many components to it which you should consider when you're looking for a health plan as well.
Right.
For instance, if I would say that, I pay $300 for my plan and you pay $400 for yours, you would say I pay less for mine, right?
Right.
But in the end of the day, if you go, for instance, to healthcare.gov, their website, and you type in, all your details, what you need to look for plans, you're going to get a long list of all the plans available to you. And the first one is going to say affordable plans, the most affordable plan.
Okay.
And affordable would mean average person, that would be, somewhat cheaper plans, right?
Yeah.
But After the most affordable plan, they will come listed from the lowest premium up to the highest premium.
Okay.
And so when you look at the most affordable plan, in many cases, doesn't have the lowest premium. So that's just one of the different components you have when it comes to deciding what insurance is good for you. I mean, you have deductibles also coming in. I mentioned it before. A deductible is the amount of money you have to pay before the insurance would go in and cover you or help you cover your medical bills.
Right.
With a percentage, and that percentage is like a co-insurance, it's called.
Right.
The cover could be between 60 to up to 90%, depending on your plan.
Correct.
And once that's done, you will reach your max out of pocket.
Yes.
So and yeah, when that happens, then you have fully coverage.
Yes, I'm very happy with the owner of Heyday Marketing, which you are with him in the B&I chapter. Yes. Squeeze the Lemon. That's the,
correct.
The
correct.
Coral Gables chapter. And he, after me of 6 months being employed with him, I bugged him every day. We need health insurance. And he finally got it, which is amazing. And we were so grateful. A lot of the employees already had like health insurance. Like actually they had the affordable, I forget the name.
It's just Obamacare is like what people call it, Affordable Care Act.
Right.
It's literally just a law, which is kind of, you have to follow certain things. Yeah.
But it was such a small, I mean, it was only like a few employees of us, so I can see why he didn't get it initially. Now, the plan that he got was amazing. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's almost as great as the one that I had when I worked in the government.
Yeah.
Florida Blue Cross Blue Shield, and I go to specialists. I don't have to worry. Sometimes I have a $20 copay, sometimes I don't. And if I want an MRI or whatever the case may be, it's almost completely covered. It's impressive.
It's funny you mention copays. Many people also mention that they want to talk about copays, having a set price.
Yes.
When you go, but that's also one funny component to talk about, because many people, I think, like if I go to a doctor, I pay $20 for my copay, right? And that's it. But what I don't realize is, like, I usually think of it as if you would go to an amusement park or do something, right? You have an entrance ticket.
Right.
So you would pay the entry, but once you're in, maybe you want to eat something, maybe you want to drink something, and some things are not covered. And it's the same things with a copay.
Interesting. I never thought of it like that.
So when you would come to your doctor, maybe to determine what's wrong with you, or, you maybe have to run some tests, blood work. And yeah, those things might not be covered by a plan, and you have to pay for those.
Correct.
So it's, these kind of things, it could be good to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Because many people I speak to, they say that, but it's a copay, I only pay $20 to see the
doctor. So it's interesting. And I said something really funny to Eddie. I'm like, you have me for another 3 years. Because like I said from previously, if you take care of your employees are going to want to take care of the company. Because initially it's not our company. Mm-hmm. So we're never going to care as much as the owner. Yeah. As much as we try, we're not going to. It's not our company. So, but now that we know, they're taking care of me, they care about my health, it makes you want to give more.
Of course.
So it's so important for small employers to get health insurance.
Yeah.
Absolutely, right? And is there something else you would like to add?
Well, if you need any help, if someone is out there wondering, want to compare plans, for instance, I work that way that what I do is I look at the broad spectrum, as I said, all the different channels, if you will, and then I kind of speak to you. It's important there is no such a thing as a best insurance or best plan.
Okay.
That's important to know. It's about getting to know the person and their specific needs. I mean, for you, it might be I don't know what you would need, but there might be some kind of, medicine that you would like to have covered. So you have to get to know the person, and then from there, you have to kind of find, and that's what I do.
Okay.
So that's what differentiates me from a normal, a health insurance agent that works for a company. I don't push products either.
Okay.
I look into the individual or family or small business, what would be most beneficial or best for the person, so to speak. And from having a discussion, or not discussion, but talk, getting to know you, what your needs are, finance, what you could pay for your insurance, I can then look in and kind of narrow it down with a few options, and then I present them to you, and then from there on you can make your own decision what's best for you.
That's actually, you actually touched on something that really interested me. You said you look at the individual and you ask what your needs may be, right? I'm 41, I don't have children. Maybe in 3 years I want children.
Yeah.
So my options are limited. My biological clock has been ticking, how they call it. So if I wanted to, my husband, I don't have one yet, when I do in the future, if we wanted to do in vitro or anything like that, are there health insurances that cover that? Or is that always out of pocket?
They have some plans that have some kind of benefits. I don't know specifically what you're asking now, but some plans. That's a part of the Affordable Care Act, for instance. I talked about the ACA plans, the Obamacare plans.
Okay.
They need to offer like maternity. That's one of the things you need to offer to. That has to be there, for instance. But specific, what you're asking specifically depends on the companies. Also, maybe they do, maybe they don't. You have to kind of dig into deeper to have a look at.
Yeah, because I had health insurance. The best was the military health insurance, and they didn't cover in vitro, but they covered a lot of different fertility avenues. If you wanted to take different types of medicine to speed it up, it offered it. And I was like very shocked at the time. I thought, wow, because that's more scientific, right?
Yeah.
That's like unnatural at that point. So the fact that they covered it, I always wondered, like now if the insurance I have would cover something like that. So that's something interesting to look at.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Magnus.
We
learned a lot from you today.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And again, please go to the website to look at the various types of health insurance and call Magnus today to schedule a phone call. You know, if you don't have health insurance, if you're an employer looking into getting health insurance for your employees, it's a good thing to do because the retention rate will be higher for you. I promise. Well, thank you for watching. I'm your host, Anabel, with Day in Miami, live from the studios of Miami's Community News. And thank you to our sponsor, Heyday Marketing, a marketing and public relations agency based right here in Miami, Florida. And you can look at the website below. Thank you.